welcome back to Bet Racing Nation. We're going to get on to the 425 Prince of Wales Stakes very soon, but you've got some breaking news, Luke.
Yeah, it's coming through on Twitter that John Gosling has confirmed that the Fugue will run in the Prince of Wales Stakes at Ascot next week.
Okay, that is interesting, because we're now going to talk about the 425 Prince of Wales Stakes. Fantastic race. You've got Trev, Magician, Macadron and the Fugue now. So, what a great race. Where do we start? We've got to start with Trev. Are we against it on the ground? And we remember about the ground. Okay, the Clark, of course, was on the same lane. But by Tuesday, with the sun on it, it's going to go.
Yeah, I agree. I would worry about Trev. I don't know if the lads agree, but I worry about Trev. Has won on good ground, but in a lot less grade than this. Beaten last time with Cirrus Desaigle, obviously beaten by a brilliant horse. Like we all know how good Cirrus Desaigle is. But, you know, this is Grade 1 company now Trev has to compete against. And on good, fast ground where she's not proven, at the prices 8 to 11, I think she is. I would take her on, definitely.
I mean, this is a great race. I mean, winners Ouija Ball, Dubai Millennium, M Toto, Brigadier Gerard. I mean,
I hope she does win, because she's, you know, she's the ARC winner. I mean, she annihilated a good quality ARC field last year. And she, you know, she is potentially one of the only fillies that can go back and win the ARC for the second time. So, you know, I'd love to see her win. But I think if the ground dries up, I really like Magician.
I don't think she'll have to improve too much from that first run against Cirrus Desaigle.
No, I'm not saying improve. I'm saying handle the ground.
The defeat wouldn't worry me at all, but the ground
about class. Now,
yeah, well, that's what I mean.
That race in France is a better race than this one.
Well, yeah, I don't agree with that. And she has won on good ground before, but in less class. All her winning has been on soft ground. If it comes up good to firm next week, you know, she might just get taken off her feet a bit early doors. You know, we all know in France they go slow early doors and then sprint. But as I say, she's, you know, her form's on soft ground.
Well, when you've got Macadram who won this race last year, Alcacin calls it's obviously going to front run. Do we presume Trading Leather might go with it?
You'd hope so. I was completely baffled last time by the tactics on Trading Leather at Newmarket. Why hold up a horse that's never, ever been held up before?
Well, to be fair, in Ireland it was.
Well, it's
sort of held up second or third. I know
in all its big runs, it's been at the front making the pace, and that's where it's been best at. It was running against the likes of Alcazim, Declaration of War last year. Why did they suddenly change it at Newmarket? It hated it completely. So you'd hope that they go back to front running tactics, and it's a much better horse than we saw at Newmarket that day. So that could be a bit of value at double figure prices, for me anyway.
Okay.
Could be. Think of this race. I mean, the fillies have got a few less options in this, so you get fillies in this race. If Mukadram comes here instead of the Hardwick Stakes, I'd be interested in him, and he's 7 to 1 each way at the moment. You could back him each way now.
He was second to African Story, wasn't he? In the
he's done very little wrong. He's a nice type. He hasn't done much wrong. And
this horse had a fantastic duel last year.
He's been unlucky, hasn't he, Billy? Really, like he hasn't won a big pot like this. You know, I think he has. Anyway.
The angle I would take, I wouldn't worry about Trev's defeat, but the ground is a worry.
The ground is a worry. No, I'm not concerned about her defeat because she was defeated by a brilliant horse.
Are you saying you fancy Magician based on the fact that you felt last time the ground wasn't?
The ground was soft, and Joseph, you know, he sat up on him. He didn't sit up on him. He was easier on him, you know, with Ascot in mind. There's no point killing the horse in soft ground because, as he said, that happened to Camelot a bit when he won the Irish Derby. It was bottomless ground, and you know, I suppose he felt the effects of that afterwards. But I think with Magician, come back on good fast ground. He's an Irish Guineas winner. He's a Breeders' Cup turf winner. Very impressive that day on fast ground. He loves fast ground. Yeah. And I think if it comes up good to firm ground here, Magician is the one they all have to beat.
Okay, so the selection in this race from you, Jimmy, is Magician.
Yeah, it ground dependent. I mean, obviously we have to wait.
Yeah,
but I really like Magician. Yeah.
Okay, Luke.
I'm not sure how certain he is to turn up, but Trading Leather is a huge each way price. So
I think you're right. Definitely. I mean, 16 to 1 is a very interesting price each way. That's probably one. I agree with you again, Luke. This is
horrible now. But I'll be clear on Trev for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I would like to see Trev win, but I have reservations about the ground, not necessarily about the quality of field. I have my reservations about the ground.
I'm not. Trev is good enough to beat these, but I am worried about the ground.
Yeah. Billy?
I'd happily lay 4 to 6. I think Muckadram, I'm not sure how likely he is to come here rather than the Hardwick Stakes on the Saturday, but if he, I think 7 to 1 each way. If he comes here, you can get 7 to 1 as cracking each way.
Do you think Trevor will be short on the day, or do you think it'll go out? But do you think
I'd
bookies
say,
and
I'd say
bookmakers
she
are
might, I'd say
overreacting
she might come
again?
into even money, I'd say she'll drift a bit. She definitely can't go any shorter.
Yeah, you can't see it being any shorter in a race like this, unless everything comes out.
Yeah.
But if all of them turn up, she won't be short.
And that's what they tend to do, bookmakers, don't they? Have a really short price where everyone follows
Well, we
it.
saw
And if they all pull
Australia.
it,
We saw Australia for the Derby. Like, I mean, we could have got 2 to 1 on the day. He was 8 to 11 a couple of weeks beforehand. It was crazy.
So wait for the day if you fancy Trev. If you fancy Sam, is your opportunity now to tweet him in Twitter Corner.
Let's hope the girlfriend isn't watching, Peter? With regards to that particular race, I actually think the race could really cut up numbers-wise. When I flick through and look through some of the Betfair prices, there's a fair few that don't look like they'd be going for this race in particular. Trading Leather that Luke mentioned there, 20 to 1 best price, and that is on the exchanges. You then got a range of sort of others before we head to the market leaders. Dank you can get 14 to 1 in most places. The Fuge that Luke was talking about earlier as well, that's 10 to 1 with most people. Sky Bet, Ladbrokes, you're looking at Boyle Sports as well. Muckadam, if you think that horse will run like Billy says and you think you'll get a good run for your money, is 7s across the board. Magician best price 6s, and that's with Sky Bet, and it's with Paddy Power as well on that one. Trev is across the board 4 to 6 in most places. I agree with the guys on the panel. I can't see this one getting any shorter, and why not wait for the day, because frankly 4 to 6 is skinny enough about a very good horse, but at the same time I wouldn't be jumping over myself to be backing at that sort of price when we never know what the weather's going to do. You know, we've had a little bit of rain, but if it dries out, we're going to be in trouble. Guys, regarding some of your tweets, just to make you aware of the ground change as well. At Musselburgh it's now soft, good to soft in places, so that may change your picks there. Had a few more selections in. Adam Webb, he's tweeted in to say he's gone for Night of Thunder, Leading Light, Slave Power and Mighty Tana for our Ascot pick 4, and Scott Goody's come in with a last minute pick for his double. He's gone for Border Scott, and he's gone for Royal Mazine as well, so he agrees with me on that particular pick, which is always a good thing. I'll pass you back over to the panel for our next Ascot race.
And the next Ascot race is the Ascot Gold Cup, and one I do fancy quite strongly in this race is Leading Light, even though it's fair to say that the dam didn't even stay past 7 furlongs, but this horse has improved. I didn't expect it to win first time out, it did, and actually carried top weight.
It surprised me actually last day winning at Navan, when you had to give weight everywhere else, and Pale Mimosa, I think, of Dermot Wells was favourite on the day. Getting £6 I think on the day it was. But very good performance, you know, from a long layoff. All the others had a run, he hadn't. You know, he's the Ledger winner who went to the Arc and disappointed. Well, maybe not disappointed, but he's more of a long distance horse than a 1.5 mile horse, I suppose, and he probably just didn't show up to form that day. But you know, he comes here in really good form.
Yeah, it was actually a very good race that he won first time out as well. It wasn't as if he was beating trees.
No, that's right. I mean, Aidan O'Brien's horses have not been great first time out, and this is one of the few that actually stepped up to the plate
he was
first
beating
time out.
genuine group horses that day, so it was a tough test, but he came through it with flying colours in my mind, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to stay this. He's shown nothing to suggest that he won't.
Yeah. Are we all Leading Light fans?
Yeah, he's absolutely solid. I mean, I tried to look for something else, but even me, I couldn't look past him really. So I'm not saying he's any great value at 7 to 4, but he's the most likely winner.
I do like Brown Panther though. I think Brown Panther's come out this year, won at Chester, won at Sandown. Do you know, he's been impressive.
We keep talking about the ground. I know we keep saying, we don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you, I can assure you, it's high pressure coming. So it's going to be a nice dry week, and that will go against Brown Panther.
I don't think it will though, Pete. I don't think it will.
Tactical Destroying won't run because of the ground if it stays good.
I don't think it will go against Brown Panther. You know, we saw he went to Australia for the Melbourne Cup. That's like running down the M6. Do you know what I mean? If he can handle ground like that, he will handle.
I wouldn't know what it's like to run down the M6, Jimmy.
No, well, I have. But no, I think Brown Panther's got a real good chance in this. He's come here. They've said he settles better. Richard Kingscote was interviewed the other day on at the races, and he said that he's come on this year mentally as well. He's learned to settle. He said it'd be easier to ride. You have to settle to stay over 2.5 mile. Do you know, if you're keen early doors, you might as well just pull up because you won't get home. Richard Hughes said that as well. You know, and there's a lot of positives I think with Brown Panther, and he does like Ascot.
Okay. So saying all that, what's your selection, Jimmy?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably a real open race. We look at Simonon as well. He was second in the race last year. Has to be a big player again.
Yeah.
And then will the Queen be smiling again, do you think? With
Estimate, I think she's had muscular problems
Yeah.
en route.
She's got a lot on her plate this year.
Hasn't had a run,
Yeah.
which last year she did. Would be a great training performance if she could come
Yeah.
out here and win. But I think she's got it up against her.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you. I'm looking forward to seeing Brown Panther over this trip. I think he's been crying out for it almost. It's very impressive the last day at Sandown in there. Henry's second, wasn't it?
Yeah, Henry II
So-
there was, yeah.
It was. There's a horse behind him like that. I'm going to mention him at a stupid price. Oriental Fox. So I just thought had a squeak in that race at Sandown. Didn't run particularly well. But he never really got into the race. I think he'll love this extra distance. And I'm not saying he'd be good enough to win this. But if you can buy him on the spreads to come in the first four, I think he's...
He was the one that got caught right on top of the line in the
Yeah.
Northumberland Plate, wasn't he?
He's capable. This trip will be bang up his street.
I mean, Shabby well than Sagara. I'm with Billy. I think there could be value at 66-1. I think this race might cut up a little bit as well.
What about Royal Diamond? We see Hughesy rides him. You know, he won the long distance cup here at Champions Day, although it was soft ground.
Yeah.
You know, he beat some decent horses
This
that day.
would be a harder race, I'd imagine. It was Harris Tweed he beat that day, wasn't it? I think Harris Tweed would not be out of place here, but wouldn't be one of the fancied runners. I think Leading Light's a different proposition completely.
Okay, so I'm going to pin you down, Jimmy.
Brown Panther.
Brown Panther.
Leading Light.
Leading Light, Oriental Fox, each way.
Well, yeah, Leading Light. I'm going with Billy as well on that one. Let's get over to Sam and Twitter Corner and see what the feedback is on Royal Ascot.
Yeah, this particular race seems to have split opinion. I haven't had too many. I had a couple of you tweeting saying Leading Light. Best price you'd be looking at is 7-4 with Ladbrokes, William Hill, Sky Bet. We've got Brown Panther in there, 6s with William Hill, with Ladbrokes as well. Billy's particular real long shot there of Oriental Fox, you can get 75 on the exchanges, or you'd be looking at 66 to 1 across the board with your conventional bookmakers. Simonon that was mentioned as well, 16 to 1. I'd quite fancy that one to perhaps come back from its exertions abroad to run a really good race in this particular field, but it's hard not to like Brown Panther. But a lot of you are going for Leading Light, so I think that's probably the populist opinion, I'd say, with your tweets, Leading Light. Back to Peter.
Okay, there's one more race we're going to feature at Royal Ascot. Don't forget, we've also got time for our selections for the day, so you can grab your pen and paper for that as well. Our tips for today, that's coming up very, very soon here on 212. But that's the next one and the very last one. Make sure I got it in the right order. Coronation Stakes, I do believe.
Yeah.
I know that Melissa said about My Titania. It's a tough ask first time out though.
Yeah, she was fancied though for the English Guineas, and then Scope bad. Then they thought they had it. John Ox thought he had it ready for the Irish Guineas, and ground came up soft, so he's pulled stumps. He obviously thinks an awful lot of her, because if he thought she was just, you know, running for place money or running just for a run, he would have run.
I mean, I loved the horse when I watched it in Ireland. I thought, well, this is, you know, next
And
season. But
great
the only thing
attitude
is, as a
and
stat
everything.
for you, first time out, filly, never won this race since 1980. It was 24 before you were born, Jimmy.
Stats are there to be broken.
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of stats, but My Titania, you worry. She's been fancied for so many races, but just hasn't made it there. The Oaks was another one that she was sort of fancied to go fairly close in, and at the final declaration she just came out again, and there seems to be a few problems with her. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think there's problems with her. I think there's been problems with everything else. There's been problem with as we said, she's scoped bad for the English Guineas. The ground went soft for the Irish Guineas. I don't think she was in the Oaks. I don't think she was going to run the Oaks. If you read what John Ox said in the paper today, I don't think she was never going to run in the Oaks. They were her two races she was going to run in. And I think he says, like, if she turns up here next week, he's not worried about her not having a run.
Billy?
Yeah, it's a fair comment. I'm going to cheat slightly. Radiators entered in this race.
Bit warm.
Yeah.
even for you, that's all.
I don't think she'll actually run in this race. If she does, I'd be interested. She's actually in the Sandringham handicap, which I think she's got a... If you forgive her a sort of comeback run where she pulled too hard and it just didn't work out, I think she'd have a shout. So I'd be keen on Radiator. So I'm kind of cheating, so I don't think she'll run in this race. My Titania is interesting, but again, you want to wait till the day, and you want to feel that the vibes are good and that everyone's happy and everything's going well. You don't want to hear doubts about this and that. So if you pin me down, I mean, I would take on Miss France, Lightning Thunder.
Miss France is likely not to run, actually.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more to talk about in this race. We'll do that after the break. Rosina and Vida. Is that how you pronounce
Vader.
it? Vader.
Dark
Two that I quite fancy. We're going to finish off on this Coronation Stakes. One of my favourites, Rosina, from last season. What do you think about Rosina?
Yeah, I was going to mention it. We hadn't really mentioned Rosina. Clive Britton was so confident that she'd win the 1,000 guineas, but it just didn't go right for her on the day. I think she needed a bit more of a gallop. She still ran a creditable race, and I think we may just be forgetting her a little bit too early, because let's not forget she was a fantastic 2-year-old last season, won pretty much everything that she went for. It's about 6 to 1, I think the prices are. She must be a huge price, considered how strongly fancied
What
she was.
is favourite?
My Titania and Lightning Thunder are both up there, I think. Yeah. So it's Rosina. I think it's just too early to write off Rosina as.
She was quite busy though last year. Just
Yeah.
worry about that a
Not
little
if it's
bit.
quite lightly framed as well. What about one that I'm going to tip up later, Vader?
It's
You know, see, no one's agreeing with me on that.
No, for once I'm not agreeing with you.
Right,
today.
okay.
I don't know. The form in France it's good enough, but I'm just a bit wary of the French 3-year-old form coming over to here this year. I think our 3-year-olds are much more ahead of theirs in a sense.
Miss France?
It's not Miss France though, is it? It's
No,
Vader.
I know, but I'm just using that as an example.
So you're saying is Vader as good as Miss France?
No,
No.
but I'm saying
I
this is a
suppose,
race.
what did you say? Light of Thunder's favourite? Second favourite?
Yeah, well up there. Yeah.
You know, it has done nothing wrong.